You know that exact moment when your phone buzzes on a random Thursday night. It is an alert from your banking app. Before you even slide your thumb across the screen to unlock it, your stomach drops. You already know what it is going to say. A subscription renewed, an utility bill hit, or your balance is sitting at exactly $23.42. It feels like you are living inside a horror movie that you have already watched 100 times. That constant, low-level background radiation of financial anxiety dictates every single choice you make. You open social media to distract yourself, and the algorithm hits you with 20-year-olds standing in front of leased sports cars. They are screaming about turning $1,000 into $1 million in 30 days using secret trading indicators. Or they tell you that if you do not have $100,000 invested by next week, you are failing at life. And you are sitting on your couch thinking, I just want to figure out how to get through next month without running out of money. Because here is the reality of the situation. The internet has completely broken our understanding of scale. We are told that small amounts of money do not matter. We are told that if an asset cannot buy a house tomorrow, it is not worth building. But when you are starting from absolute zero, the most important boundary you will ever cross is not $1 million. It is your first $1,000. And in this video, we are going to break down the actual, psychological evolution that happens to your brain when you secure that baseline buffer. Not the hyped-up online version. The real version of how your daily existence transforms. My name is Rabby, and on this channel, we build systems that make money stress completely disappear. If you want to transition away from survival mode and start building real financial momentum, make sure to hit the subscribe button right now. Let us start with a statistic that should make you realize you are not alone in this cycle. Data from the Federal Reserve shows that when faced with a sudden $400 emergency expense, nearly 40% of American adults cannot cover it with cash. Think about that. An unexpected car battery replacement or a quick trip to urgent care is enough to financially break millions of households. When you have zero breathing room, every single day is a calculated risk. You are praying the check engine light stays off. You are hoping your landlord does not look too closely at the water heater. Now you might be thinking, Rabby, $1,000 is great, but it does not pay off my student debt or buy me a house. Why does it matter so much? I get it. In the grand scheme of a retirement portfolio, $1,000 is a tiny rounding error. But your first $1,000 is not a financial milestone. It is a psychological weapon. Because the biggest problem with living paycheck to paycheck is not just the lack of numbers in your account. It is the cognitive scarcity mindset it forces upon your brain. Psychologists have proven that when humans are under extreme financial stress, their functional IQ drops significantly. Your brain shifts entirely into the amygdala. You stop thinking about next year, next month, or even next week. You only think about right now. And when you are stuck in right now mode, you make terrible financial decisions. You buy things on high-interest credit lines because you cannot afford the upfront cost. You ignore minor car noises until the engine entirely seizes up. You accept toxic treatment at your day job because walking away means immediate destitution. $1,000 changes that baseline chemistry completely. It functions as a literal shield against chaos. Let me show you exactly what this looks like in practice. Imagine a professional named Sarah. Sarah drives a 10-year-old sedan and works an intense administrative job in Chicago. For 2 years, her savings account balance hovered around $84. Every morning, turning the key in her ignition was a high-stress gamble. Then, she spent 90 days focusing on one single goal, setting aside $10 a day by cutting delivery services and picking up extra shifts. She hits exactly $1,050 in a separate high-yield account. 2 weeks later, a loud grinding noise starts coming from her front left wheel. In the past, that noise would have triggered a full emotional breakdown. It would have meant putting a massive balance on a credit card charging 26% interest. But this time, Sarah drives calmly to the mechanic. The bill comes out to exactly $412.86 for a new brake caliper. She swiped her card. The bill was settled. And when she told me about it later, she said something that stayed with me. She said, "Rabby, it wasn't the fact that I had the money. It was the fact that my weekend wasn't ruined. I went home and slept for 8 hours. That is the emotional payoff." The $400 did not change her net worth on paper in a massive way. But it entirely protected her psychological peace. It turned an absolute life catastrophe into a minor Tuesday afternoon inconvenience. When you cross this threshold, you shift from playing defense to realizing that you can actually control your reality. But here's where most people completely mess up this momentum. They hit that $1,000 mark, they look at their account, and their consumer brain instantly wakes up. They think, "Wow, I have $1,000 extra. I can finally buy that new laptop, or go on that weekend trip." This reaction is a psychological pattern known as loss aversion reversing into a false sense of security. You feel like you have won the game, so you drop your guard and empty the bucket. And within 30 days, you are right back at absolute zero, waiting for Friday's direct deposit. To prevent this, you have to completely change what that money represents to you. That first $1,000 is not spending capital. It is the foundation of your entire financial system. You do not leave it in your everyday checking account where it can be accidentally swiped at a grocery store checkout. You move it to a completely separate financial institution. An account with no attached debit card. An account that takes 48 hours to transfer money back to your main bank. You create intentional structural friction. Because when temptation hits on a Friday night, that 48-hour delay forces your rational brain to take back control from your emotional impulses. Once that foundation is safe, an incredible shift happens to your long-term wealth potential. Building a financial life is entirely about building confidence. If you have never saved money before, your brain genuinely believes that you are incapable of doing it. You tell yourself, "I am just bad with money." But once you prove to yourself that you can stack 10 single $100 bills in a room and leave them completely untouched, the spell is broken. You stop looking at wealth as a mystery meant for other people. You realize it is just an operational system of small choices repeated over and over again. If you can save $1,000, you can save $5,000. If you can save $5,000, you can automate your first index fund contribution and let compounding take over the heavy lifting. The mechanics are exactly identical. The only variable that scales up is time. But you cannot build a roof until you pour the concrete foundation. So, do not let the internet shame you into thinking your starting step is too small. $1,000 is the exact line where you stop surviving and start planning. So here's your actionable challenge for the next 24 hours. Open a high-yield savings account at an entirely separate bank from your daily checking account. Set up an automatic recurring transfer of just $15 a week. Do not wait for a massive windfall or a perfect salary increase to start your journey. Start accumulating the brickwork right now. Then, drop a comment below this video stating, "Account open and my target date is locked." Commit to it publicly in front of this community so we can keep you accountable. Because the next time your phone buzzes on a Thursday night, you are not going to freeze up with panic. You are going to look down at the screen, slide it open calmly, and realize that you finally own your life. Hit the subscribe button to stay on the path, and I will see you in the next breakdown.